what is tiramisu and what does it mean? Because tiramisu actually means something in Italian. It stands for lift me up. So because it has coffee, it kind of makes sense because it does wake you up and it does have caffeine in it. So eating it at night, go for it, but you might not sleep very well afterwards if you're very sensitive to coffee. But it is one of the simplest Italian desserts to make. It's a staple. Everybody knows how to make it. And these are the basic ingredients that you will need. We have some fresh cream that we're going to whip. These are obviously the most important thing that you will need. You need savoiardi. This is the kind of biscuit that is required. Don't use any other kind. These are the ones. And you can find them anywhere. In the supermarkets, they sell these. I will spell it out for you. And then mascarpone. This is also, the cheese that you have to use is a cream cheese, but it has a very specific flavor and it's very intense, very fatty. So this is not a dessert that is exactly light, right? If you're on a diet, it might not be best, but so delicious. You cannot live a life without making tiramisu for yourself at least once. And I have loads of it because I'm making it for a family of 6 today. So I want them to have enough, to last for a bit. Otherwise it's gonna go in one day. And then because they have farmers and friends who grow their own things, have their own animals, I have 6 fresh eggs from the farm next door, which is, oh my God, I'm so excited to see how these eggs are gonna taste. And then this is what I like to add, some dark chocolate. So have some ready to chop. And of course, chocolate powder if you have it, just to cover the top as well. Before we start with anything, get yourself a bowl like this that is a little deep where you can put the coffee. So the first thing you should do is prepare your coffee, just because at least when you start using it to dip in the little savoiardi, you're not gonna burn your fingers. So it's better to just do it first and then you have it ready when you have to begin. And again, if you want to add a little bit of sugar in the coffee, you're very welcome to do that. We start with the eggs. Because these are fresh from a farm, there is always the chance that they're not going to be perfect or that they might have some issues. So I'm going to break them first in a separate bowl, like I would if I were to separate them in the big ones, but just so in case, and add them one by one, just in case if one of them isn't good, I can put it on the side and keep going without ruining the whole batch. And as we said, the easiest way to break an egg, take 2 of them lightly. Do not, slap your hands. But if you do it light, one will always break and one will always stay whole. And there's never a risk to do any harm to your eggs like this. Okay, so this egg looks really nice. So we can put the egg yolk in one of the bowls. And we can put the egg white into the other bowl. And we keep going until we've done all of the eggs. As I said, this is for 6. If you're on your own or there's a couple of you, a portion with 2 eggs is absolutely fine. 2 eggs, 1 of these, and then you just, handle yourself with the amount of sugar that you like. It has to be as sweet as you want it. Consider there is coffee in it, so the coffee is bitter. So try and find your balance. The sun is getting to my head. I forgot an ingredient. Sugar. You need this too. So part of the essentials. Right. First step, the egg yolks. So these are 6. So add, let's say 1 tablespoon for each egg yolk. At least that guarantees that it's not going to be too sweet. If you want some more, you can always add it. Where is the spoon? I love this kitchen. Everything is here. Okay. Spoon, a few tablespoons of sugar, and then we start whisking. This is what we have in house. So remember, if you only have one, whatever it is that you do, always wash it and dry it really, really, really well afterwards, especially if you're dealing with egg whites, because the smallest amount of dirt or water will just ruin completely all of the egg whites. You have to start all over again. But first, we're talking egg yolks. Let's do this. When you're done, the egg yolks must be very fluffy and white. they will have tripled in size, probably. When they are at this stage, then you can add the mascarpone and mix it all in nicely. And then we can move to the next step, which is the cream. Mascarpone, which is, as you can see, really, really creamy. Before you start using the whisk, just break it down a little yourself, because it's, you know, it needs to, it's gonna be easier then for the whisk itself to go around and you make a little bit less of a mess. Okay, this is done. Let me show you what it looks like. Maybe this from this angle is better. See, it's really, really, really thick. So that's why we're gonna add cream. Oh my God, it's already delicious. We're gonna add cream and the egg whites, like I explained. We add sugar to the cream as well. So instead of adding it all to the egg whites, if you spread it across and you taste each and every one of these three elements, the egg whites, the egg yolks, and the cream, when you put them together, it's still gonna maintain the right level of sweetness. If you just put it on one side, like all your eggs in one basket, as to say, you might risk that when you combine everything, you feel like, oh, this is actually not sweet enough. Or, oh shit, it's too sweet. Okay, so we're gonna add another 3 spoons here to the cream. And we start whisking again. Clean, set, go. Not too bad. Oh, another important thing about whipping cream. Oh God, I have it everywhere. Do not use full speed, because the risk is if you go too fast and you set too quick, you might turn this into batter. So it's always better to use a lower speed so you can check more easily when it gets to the right level of whippiness. Can you say whippiness? No? Doesn't matter, I'm not British, so. We've reached the right level of thickness. So it's not too much, not too little. This is what it looks like. There we go. And now we can add this to our egg yolks and mascarpone. Okay, so this is looking glorious now. If you may agree or not. This is looking very nice. And again, let's taste. Definitely not too sweet, which is how I like it. And now we make the egg whites a meringue, because we're gonna add sugar to this as well. Room temperature. You want your eggs at room temperature. It's much easier to beat them up. When you add the sugar, add it while it is already whisked and puffy. Do not add it straight away when you still have to begin, because otherwise it's gonna be so much harder for your eggs to just puff up and they might not even work at all. So, first step, let's wash this baby again and then we can start whipping this. When the eggs are about like this, you see? Now it's time, you know, you can add the sugar now. Okay. So you add it slowly. It has peaks. If you do this, nothing happens. That's the test. And finally, we can add the last element to the whole thing. Maybe start with just a third. Just because the first tranche is going to fluff down pretty quickly. But it is already adding smoothness and lightness to the whole concoction here. Concoction. It's a nice word. Never used it before. Okay. This thing is making me discover new vocabularies. Okay. Add a little bit more. Add another third. Very lightly whisk that in. And we are ready. Our mascarpone cream is done. Da 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 da. We can have a bath in this for how big it is. Fantastic. Taste, always. Perfect. Yes. And now we can start the fun part where we start building all of these bits together. Actually, there's one thing I want to do first. So this is not something that everybody does when they prepare a tiramisu, but what I like to do is chopping a piece of dark chocolate and chop it into bits, not too thin and not too big either. You don't want a huge surprise when you buy it. You want it to be a pleasure, right? Oh my God, this is so tasty. So have a piece, probably I'm gonna do more than this, but you know, I have more. Chop it, and then you can add it in between the layers and on top. And I promise you, it does, it adds the little extra kick that everybody loves. So here we go. Here we go. See? There we go. That's the chocolate we need. I'm gonna make a lot more. 6 people, remember. Chocolate hands. Okay, so we have all of our elements ready to build our tiramisu. We have the cream, the coffee is nice and cold now, our chocolate, and the biscuits. First step, take a spoon and put some cream inside your serving dish. I am using this simply because it's really deep and I can make a lot of layers. And actually, I have to, because this is a lot of cream and there's a lot of people to feed, and I have a feeling they will like it, so they might, you know, probably eat this one in one go, and then they have another one that they can spread across the week. So let's begin. Let's put a little bit of cream inside. Oh, it's so nice and fluffy. I can see how the egg whites have really helped in making this a smooth cream. Move this over here. Get your biscuits, open them up. Then, when you dip it in the coffee, it literally is a second. Otherwise, it's gonna be really, really soggy very, very quickly. So 1 second, lift, and put in your bowl. Another second, and put in the bowl. And you keep going until you made a full layer, and then you put more cream on top, and you keep going until the end. My idea is that I'm gonna use the chocolate in between every layer. When you get to a point where you know that one biscuit is not gonna fit anymore, you can break it, put in your coffee, and fit it back in. A little bit like a puzzle Tetris kind of thing. There we go. And then some chocolate. Get your chocolate, sprinkle it on top. And this is how it looks like. Look. You see? Great. I'm gonna make all the layers now. And voila! The first bowl is ready. The layers are in. There's loads of cream in here. And I have topped it up with chocolate. Look. Beautiful layer. I didn't have chocolate powder, so I just used, you know, the very fine chocolate that I chopped, and just made a whole layer at the top. And now all we need to do is put it in the fridge for minimum 2 hours, 3 if you can wait, and then it's ready to eat. Done. Ta-da!